Hello students, today we are going to start first chapter of accountancy, Introduction to Partnership. Introduction to Partnership. I will touch only those theory portion which is necessary for practical question, otherwise it will take lots of time. So first we know that in partnership deed is desirable for partners, means partnership deed may be oral or written, but it is desirable for them to prepare written partnership deed so that future conflicts does not arise among partners. So written partnership deed is desirable, written partnership deed. And in those partnership deed all the important matters must be mentioned. If important matters are not mentioned in those partnership in that partnership deed, then the provision of partnership act provision of partnership act 1932 is applicable whenever they are not mentioning important matters in partnership deed. Then provisions of partnership act 1932 is automatically applicable. Or if they had not prepared partnership deed, means in the absence of partnership deed, these provisions are applicable according to Partnership Act 1932. The first point, once again I am explaining only those theory portion which is important for your practical question right now. Theory portion we can do later on. The first provision is, if in partnership deed, interest on capital, rate of interest on capital is not mentioned, means the capital means the amount invested by each and every partner into the business. On that capital, whether they want to receive interest or not, it depends on the wish of partner whether to take interest or not. But if interest on capital is not mentioned in the partnership deed, then no partner is entitled to receive interest. No partner is entitled to receive interest. Second, interest on drawing. Interest on drawing. Drawing, we know the amount, assets, goods withdrawn by partner for their personal use, that is called drawing. So if they had made some rule that whenever partner withdraws money for personal use, they need to pay some interest, then they have to mention that rate of interest in the partnership deed. But if it is not mentioned in the partnership deed, then again no partner is required to pay any interest. No partner is required to pay any interest to firm. Third point, profit loss sharing ratio. Partners have to decide in which ratio they are going to distribute profit or loss. They have to mention that ratio in the partnership deed. For example, if they have decided that we will distribute profit or loss in the ratio of 5:3:2, so this ratio they need to mention in partnership deed. But if they have not mentioned such ratio in partnership deed, in that case, in equal ratio, they need to distribute profit or loss. Means if profit loss sharing ratio is not mentioned in the deed, then it is assumed that they are going to distribute profit or loss in equal ratio, means 1:1 if two partners are there. If three partners are there, 1:1:1. Fourth, if any expense of firm, any expense of firm is paid by any partner, paid by any partner, any expense is paid by partner on behalf of firm, then partner is entitled to receive that amount later on. They are entitled to claim that amount or reimburse, to claim the expense. They are entitled to claim the expense which they had paid on behalf of firm. Means they are entitled to reimburse. That is called reimburse. Reimburse the expense. Fifth, if next point is salary, bonus, commission. Sometimes beside profit, partners can also receive salary, bonus or commission for the work rendered by them. If they are entitled for a salary, bonus or commission, it must be mentioned in the partnership deed. But if such provision, such points are not mentioned in the deed, in this case we have to assume that no partner is entitled to receive such salary, bonus or commission. No partner is entitled to receive bonus, salary or commission. And sixth important point, if any partner has given loan to the firm, loan given by partner to the firm, whenever there is shortage of money or whenever there is paucity of funds, then sometimes partners are giving loan to the firm. So if loan is given by partner to the firm, so what should be the rate of interest? That must be mentioned in the partnership deed. If the rate of interest is not mentioned, then according to provision of Partnership Act 1932, 6% rate of interest is 6% is applicable. 6% is applicable. Means firm has to pay 6% per annum to the partner. So these are the provisions. Whenever these matters are not mentioned in the partnership deed, then provision of Partnership Act 1932 is applicable. Once again, if interest on capital is not mentioned in the deed, then no partner is entitled, means they do not have right to receive any interest on that capital. Interest on drawing, if interest on drawing is not mentioned in the partnership deed, then no partner is required to pay any interest on that drawing or withdrawn amount. Profit loss sharing ratio, if profit loss sharing ratio is not mentioned in the partnership deed, then it is assumed that they are going to share profit or loss in equal ratio, means 1:1. Any expense, if any expense paid by the partner on behalf of the firm, then later on they are entitled to reimburse that amount, means recover that amount from the firm out of profit. Salary, bonus and commission. Salary, bonus and commission is related with partners, not to employees. If they are entitled to get any salary, bonus, commission, it must be mentioned in the partnership deed. But if it is not mentioned, then no partner is entitled to receive any salary, bonus or commission. And last, if any partner has given loan to the firm, rate of interest must be mentioned in the partnership deed. But if such rate of interest is not mentioned, then according to provision of Partnership Act 1932, 6% per annum is applicable. Means firm has to pay 6% on that loan amount to the partner. So these are the provisions which are applicable in the absence of partnership deed, or if partnership deed is made in written form, and if such important points are not mentioned, then these provisions are applicable. So here loan given by, important point, loan given by, when partner is giving loan, Not firm is giving loan. Partner is giving loan to the firm. Then 6%. So keep in mind this sixth point. This is important one. Next topic, capital account. Capital account, how to make capital account, you have already done in 11th standard, but little bit I am explaining here. Then we will start practical question. Capital account. In short, I am telling you, then we will start practical questions. There are two methods to maintain capital account. One is fluctuating capital account method, fluctuating capital account method, and second one is fixed capital account method. Fluctuating capital account method is the method in which they are preparing only one account, that is capital account. First of all, capital account they are preparing. It means fluctuating capital account method means when opening balance of capital and closing balance of capital do not remain same. It fluctuates, it varies, it differs. Opening balance of capital and closing balance of capital do not remain same. That type of capital account is called fluctuating capital account method. Generally, most of the questions which you are doing, you are doing through fluctuating capital account method. Now, fixed capital account method. In fixed capital account method, firm has to prepare two accounts. One is capital account and second one is current account. Current account. Fixed capital account method means when opening balance of capital and closing balance of capital remain same. And all the transactions in capital account, which type of transactions we are posting? The transactions which take place between partner and firm. Partners and partnership firm. Partnership firm. The transaction which take place between partners and partnership firm, such type of transaction is to be shown in capital account. So first of all, fluctuating capital account method. Fluctuating capital account method. Now you know that in case of fluctuating capital account method, firm has to prepare only one account, that is capital account. Capital account. Now just assume that there are two partners, so two column we have to prepare on debit side and two column on the credit side. Debit side, credit side. Just assume there are two partners, A and B. A and B. So any transaction which increase the capital of partners. Once again, any transaction, first of all, which type of transactions we are taking in capital account, which take place between partner and partnership firm. Only such type of transactions we are showing in capital account. Or second point, transaction which increases the capital of partners will be shown on credit side, and the transaction which reduces the capital of partners will be shown on debit side. So first of all, by balance brought down. By balance brought down. By balance brought down means this is the opening capital. Opening capital. Opening capital. Then other transactions which may increase their capital, for example, by interest on capital. Interest on capital is an income for partners which increases their capital. By interest on capital will be shown on credit side. Beside this, by salary, bonus, commission, whatever is given in the question, salary, bonus or commission, which is payable to partner, such a salary, bonus, commission will increase their capital. That's why it will be shown on credit side. Beside this, by divisible profit, divisible profit, after making all payments, whatever profit is left, that will be distributed between or among a partner. As a result, their capital increases. So distributable or divisible profit. Now on debit side, to drawing, the partner, whenever partner withdraw the amount from business, from firm, for their personal use, such amount is called drawing, and this drawing will reduce their capital. That's why it will be shown on debit side, to drawing. Next, to interest on drawing. On that drawing, they are liable to pay interest, and this interest will reduce their capital. That's why it is also shown on debit side. So many other items, for example, one more item is left, interest on loan. Interest on loan, loan which is given by partner to firm, the loan which is given by partner to firm, that is called partner's loan. On that loan, firm has to pay interest to the partner. As a result, that interest becomes income for that particular partner. It will increase their capital. That's why it will be shown on the credit side. Suppose A has given loan to firm, so firm is required to pay interest, a fixed rate of interest to A. So for A, it becomes income. It will be shown on the credit side because it increasing its capital, his capital. After that, we have to make balance, equal balance to both the sides. You know all these things. To balance carried down, total of greater side, then deduct out of greater side, lesser side you have to deduct from the greater side, and whatever answer or balance is left, that is called to balance carried down. And that balance carried down will be shown in the balance sheet liability side. In case of fluctuating capital account, we have to prepare only one account, that is capital account. Now second, fixed capital account method. Fixed capital account method. In that case, we have to prepare two accounts. One is capital account and another is current account. This is debit side and this is credit side. Second account is current account. Debit balance, credit balance. Now in capital account, first of all, capital account, this is fixed capital account method. Fixed capital account method. In fixed capital account method, we have to prepare two accounts, capital account and current account. Now what is the meaning of fixed capital account method? Fixed capital account method is that method in which opening balance of capital and closing balance of capital remain same. That is called fixed capital account method. In capital account, only opening balance is to be shown by balance brought down. For example, A has invested 60,000 into the business, B has invested 70,000 into the business, or at the beginning of the year their balance of capital is 60,000 and 70,000. Now no other transaction will be shown in capital account. No other transaction other than one, additional capital. Sometimes they are bringing additional capital or they are drawing amount on permanent basis. Only these two types of transaction will be shown in capital account, otherwise permanent basis. Otherwise there is no need to pass any other entry in capital account. Only two transactions, additional capital and drawing. Drawing will be shown on debit side, additional capital will be shown on credit side. Now you know that we are not required to pass any entry in capital account. So closing balance also remain same, to balance carried down. 60,000, same 60,000. 70,000, 70,000. Close the account. 60,000, 70,000. Here also 60,000, 70,000. It means opening balance and the closing balance of capital remain same. That is called fixed capital account method. And all the transactions which may increase their capital or decrease their capital will be shown in current account. Will be shown in current account. For example, by interest on capital, by interest on capital on the credit side, by salary, partner salary, by salary, because partner salary increases their capital, that's why it will be shown on credit side. By salary, by bonus, by commission, then by interest on loan, by interest on loan, loan given by partner to the firm, on that they will receive interest and it will increase their capital, it will be shown in current account. Beside this, to drawing, drawing will reduce their capital, that's why on debit side to drawing. To interest on drawing, it will also reduce their capital, that's why it will be shown in current account debit side. And then again same, you have to bring, you have to make balance equal both the side. How? By deducting lesser amount from the greater amount, and then answer will come to balance carried down. Balance may come either on debit side or on credit side, then that balance will be transferred to balance sheet. But we will discuss later on about capital account and current account. So in fixed capital account, two accounts are prepared, capital account and current account. Now come to practical question. Capital account, types of capital account you have already done in 11th standard also. Now chapter number first, practical questions. The first topic is interest on capital. How to calculate interest on capital. Interest on capital, first topic. So theory for interest on capital is, interest on capital is always calculated on opening capital. Interest on capital is always calculated on opening capital. Opening capital. First of all, first point is interest on capital is always calculated on opening capital. If opening capital is given, then directly you can calculate interest on capital. For example, if opening capital is 60,000 and rate of interest is 10%, so directly orally you can calculate 10% of 60,000, 6,000. Second point, if opening capital is not given, opening capital is not given in the question, then you have to find out opening capital. And formula for opening capital is, opening capital is equal to closing capital plus drawing and minus net profit. Minus net profit. Closing capital plus drawing minus net profit is equal to opening capital. Before attempting practical question, again I am explaining why we are adding drawing and why we are deducting net profit from an example. The 2 points are important for calculating or for regarding interest on capital. First, it is always calculated on opening capital, and second, if opening capital is not given in the question, then first of all you have to find out opening capital by this formula, closing capital plus drawing minus net profit. Then on that opening capital you can calculate rate of interest. Now another example, why we are adding drawing or deducting net profit. Just assume that partner A has invested, or his opening balance of capital is 70,000. This is opening capital of A. Opening capital of A is 70,000. During the year, he has withdrawn some amount for personal use, that is called drawing, and due to drawing, his capital reduced. Just assume that he has withdrawn 10,000 rupees. As a result, his capital becomes 60,000. And then at the end of the year, he earned a net profit. Net profit of, suppose, 40,000. Net profit will increase his capital. So total capital becomes, or closing capital becomes 1 lakh rupees. This is his closing capital. So in this way we can calculate closing capital. Opening capital is given 70,000. During the year he has withdrawn 10,000. As a result, capital reduced. It becomes 60,000. Then at the end of the year he earned a profit of 40,000. As a result, his capital increases. So in this example, drawing is deducted because capital is reduced and net profit is added. Now another question. Another question is, suppose that opening capital of A is not given. Then what is given in the question? Closing capital is given, profit is given, drawing is given, and we have to find out opening capital. We have to find out opening capital. So first of all, closing capital is given. Right here, closing capital is equal to 1 lakh rupees. Now we are going in reversing order from lower to upper side. So we have to apply reverse formula. Reverse formula means whatever is added, now it will be deducted. Whatever is deducted, now it will be added. For example, net profit is given 40,000. In this question, in the first question, we have added 40,000. Now we have to deduct net profit. Net profit is 40,000. Deduct 40,000. It becomes 60,000. Now drawing. Drawing is given 10,000. In previous example, we have deducted drawing, but in this question, in this example, we have to add drawing because we are going in reversing order. Drawing 10,000. So what is our opening capital? 70,000. In previous example, you know that our opening capital of A is 70,000. So in this way we can get opening capital. So that's why we are applying that formula. Closing capital plus drawing minus net profit is equal to opening capital. So this is the formula for calculating opening capital. Because we are, again, closing capital is given, it means from closing capital we have to find out opening capital, means from closing year to we are going to opening year. So we have to apply reverse formula. Whatever item we are adding, it will be deducted, and whatever item we are deducting, it will be added. So once again, interest on capital. Interest on capital. First important point is, it is always calculated on opening capital, and if opening capital is not given, then you have to apply formula, and once again formula is opening capital is equal to closing capital, means closing capital is given in the question, closing capital plus drawing minus net profit is equal to opening capital. In any question, if drawing is not given, then closing capital minus net profit. If net profit is not given, then closing capital plus drawing. In this way we can calculate opening capital. Now on this basis, question number 10. Exercise is given on page number 30. I am writing here page number also. Page number 30. Question number 10. The closing capital of Raghuvir. The closing capital of Raghuvir. Closing capital of Raghuveer is equal to 80,000, in which 12,500 drawings of current year. Drawing is given 12,500. Drawing is equal to 12,500. And profit of 17,800 are recorded. Profit is also given, that is 17,000, 17,800, 17,800. Profit is given. What will be the interest at 6% per annum? Interest is given, rate of interest is given 6% per annum. What will be the interest at 6% per annum on the opening capital? Here in this question, opening capital is written. If it is not given, then also we know that interest on capital is always calculated on opening capital. And in this question, closing capital is given, drawing profit is given. It means opening cap, we do not have opening capital. So first of all, we have to find out opening capital by applying this formula. The formula is already written here. Formula is already written here. Opening capital is equal to closing capital, and closing capital is 80,000. So 80,000 plus drawing. Drawing is given 12,500, 12,500 minus net profit. Net profit is 17,800. So we get how much? 92,500 minus 17,800, 74,700 is the opening capital. 74,700 rupees, 74,700 is the opening capital. Now on that amount, means on 74,700, we have to calculate interest. Interest on capital, 74,700 into 6%. You can write in this way, or in other way also, into 6 upon 100 is equal to, so 6% of 74,700 into 6 by 100, 0 cancel, 42, 4, 4 6, 24, 28, 2, 42, 4, 4, 8, 2. 4, 4, 8, 2. So 4, 4, 8, 2 means 4,482 rupees is the interest on capital. This is the first question we have done. According to textbook, this is the question number 10. Question number 10. We are starting from easy to harder one. The first easy question is interest on, this question is based on interest on capital. Once again, interest on capital is always calculated on opening capital. If opening capital is given, then directly we can calculate rate of interest. But if opening capital is not given, the first step is to find out the opening capital by applying this formula. Formula is closing capital plus drawing minus net profit. And if there is net loss is given, sometimes net loss is given, then it will be added, not deducted. The formula is closing capital plus drawing minus net profit. Now according to question, in question closing capital is given 80,000, drawing is given 12,500, and net profit is given 17,800. So put this amount in this formula and we will get opening capital 74,700. Then on 74,700 means on opening capital we have to calculate interest at the rate of 6%. 74,700 into 6 upon 100, or directly you can write 6%. We will get 4,482. First question, or question number 10 from textbook, is completed. Next topic is interest on drawing. Interest on drawing. Now concept or theory about interest on drawing. Interest on drawing. First point, interest on drawing is always calculated on monthly basis, means on monthly drawing. It is always calculated on monthly drawing. Monthly drawing. It means whenever annual drawing is given, yearly drawing is given. So first of all, we have to convert that yearly drawing or annual drawing into monthly drawing. How? Monthly drawing. Monthly drawing is equal to annual drawing divided by 12. Total there are 12 months in a year, so we have to divide annual drawing by 12 and we will get monthly drawing. Third step, then we have to see that whether partner has withdrawn that fixed amount, monthly amount, either at the beginning or at the end of the year. If they are making drawing at the beginning of the year, beginning of the year, if drawing is made at the beginning of the year, then interest will be calculated for 78 months, 78 upon 12. If drawing is made, monthly drawing is made by the partner at the beginning of the month, beginning of every month, then interest will be calculated for 78 months, that is 78 upon 12. And if, fourth point, if drawing is made at the end of the year, at the end of the month, end of the month, end of every month, then 66 upon 12. If drawing is made at the beginning of every month, then 78 upon 12. And if drawing is made at the end of every month, then 66 upon 12 we have to apply. This is about interest on drawing. Once again, for calculating interest on drawing, it is always calculated on monthly drawing. If a monthly drawing is given, then directly we can apply the formula. But if monthly drawing is not given, instead of that, in question annual drawing is given, so first of all we have to calculate annual drawing into monthly drawing. How? Monthly drawing is equal to annual drawing divided by 12. In this way we get monthly drawing. After that, we have to see whether partners are withdrawn the amount at the beginning of every month or at the end of every month. If they are making drawing at the beginning of every month, then 78 upon 12 we have to apply. This is time period. And if at the end of the month, then 66 upon 12. This is called time period. Now formula for calculating interest on drawing. Fifth point. Interest is denoted by I. I is equal to P into R into N, means PRN upon 100. I means interest, P means principal amount, amount means amount which is withdrawn by the partner, R means rate of interest, and rate of interest is always expressed in percentage, that's why 100 we have written here, R upon 100. And N means time period. If drawing is made at the beginning, then we have to apply 78 upon 12. And if drawing is made at the end of the month, then we have to apply 66 upon 12. So P means principal amount, amount withdrawn by the partner. R means rate of interest. Rate of interest is always expressed in percentage form, that's why we have written R upon 100. And N means time period. Time period depends on these two situations. If drawing is made at the beginning, then we have to apply 78 upon 12, means here N becomes 78 upon 12. And if drawing is made at the end of the month, then 66 upon 12, means in this situation N becomes 66 upon 12. In this way we can calculate interest on drawing. Now question number first from exercise. Question number first. In question number first, page number 30, a partner withdraws identical amount. Identical amount means a fixed amount. Identical amount at the end of each month. In this question, it is given that partner is withdrawing at the end of each month. The hint is given that partner is withdrawing at the end of each month. But how much amount? That is not given. At the end of the year, at the end of the year, the total annual drawing, total, this is question number first, total annual drawing, total annual drawing is 12,000 rupees, rupees 12,000. 12% per annum interest is chargeable on drawing. So interest on drawing is, interest on drawing is 12% per annum. Determine the amount of interest. So we have to find out interest on drawing. Now we have already done the concept of interest on drawing, that interest on drawing is always calculated on monthly drawing. But in this question, annual drawing is given. So first of all, convert this annual drawing into monthly drawing. So first step, monthly drawing. Monthly drawing is equal to 12,000 divided by 12. It becomes 1,000 rupees. It means partner has withdrawn 1,000 rupees per month. That is also at the end of every month. He is withdrawing 1,000 rupees at the end of every month. Now we know that he is withdrawing at the end of every month, so it becomes easy to calculate interest on drawing. What is the formula for calculating interest on drawing? P R N upon 100 means the principal amount into rate of interest into N means time period. Principal amount means monthly drawing is 1,000 rupees. 1,000 rupees into rate of interest. Rate of interest is 12%. So 12 upon 100 into N. N means a time period. End is given. That's why 66 upon 12. 66 upon 12. 12, 12 cancel, 0, 0 cancel, 10 into 66 is equal to 660 rupees. So interest on drawing is 660 rupees. The question number 1 is completed. Total annual drawing is given in question 12,000. Then it is also given that partner is withdrawing identical amount, fixed amount at the end of each month. We have to calculate interest on drawing at the rate of 12%. The total annual drawing is 12,000. First of all, we have to convert into monthly drawing. So 12,000 divided by 12, we get 1,000 rupees. It means partner is withdrawing 1,000 rupees at the end of each month. Now interest on drawing, formula for interest on drawing is P into R into N upon 100. P means 1,000 rupees. Rate of interest is 12%, that is given in the question, and 66 upon 12 means N, because partner is withdrawing at the end of each month. That's why we are using 66 upon 12. If partner has withdrawn this 1,000 rupees at the beginning of every month instead of end, beginning, then instead of 66 upon 12 we have to write 78 upon 12. We have to replace 66 upon 12 with 78 upon 12. The first question is completed. Another question based on interest on drawing, that is given in illustration. Illustration first. Illustration first. That is given on page number 14. 14. Page number 14. Hiral withdraws rupees 500. Rupees 500 in the beginning of every month. Here monthly drawing is given. Every month, monthly drawing. Every month, Hiral monthly drawing is 500 rupees. Every month, she is withdrawing. Every month means in the beginning of every month, she is withdrawing 500 rupees. If 10% rate of interest is equal to 10% per annum. 10% per annum. Determine the annual drawing. In this question, they are asking 2 points. Determine the annual drawing. Annual drawing. And second part, calculate interest on drawing. And calculate interest on drawing. Now, Every month she is withdrawing 500. It means in 12 months she has withdrawn annual drawing is equal to, she is withdrawing 500 rupees every month. It means in 12 months total she has withdrawn 6000 rupees. So first part we have done, annual drawing. Now calculate rate of interest. Now we know that interest on drawing is calculated on monthly drawing, and in this question monthly drawing is given rupees 500, and she is withdrawing this amount at the beginning, in the beginning of every month. Here beginning word is given, beginning. So we have to apply 78 upon 12 for time period. So interest on drawing is equal to, interest on drawing is equal to, first of all formula P into R into N upon 100. P means principal amount, that is monthly drawing, 500, into rate of interest, that is given 10%, so 10 upon 100, into N. N means time period, beginning is given, that's why 78 upon 12, and you will get answer 325 rupees 325. So interest on capital, question based on interest on capital and interest on drawing completed. Means according to textbook, exercise question number 10 and question number 1 we have done, and from illustration question number 1 we have done, illustration 1 we have done. Now another simple question. You can see question number 4. Question number 4. Question number 4. The profit loss sharing ratio of Rajkumar, means R, Kaushik and Sharma is 15:10:9. 15:10:9. So their profit loss sharing ratio is given 15:10:9. The total profit of the year, total profit of the year is given, that is 68,000 rupees, 68,000. Determine the share in profit of each partner, means you have to distribute the total profit among all these partners in their profit loss sharing ratio, which is given in the question 15:10:9. So distribution of profit, distribution of profit. Rajkumar total profit is 68,000, into his share is 15, out of total of this ratio is 15 plus 10 plus 9 is equal to 34. So we have to take 34. 34 2s means 30,000. Then Kaushik 68,000 into 10 upon 34 is equal to 20,000. And last Sharma, total profit is 60,000 and his share of profit is 9 upon 34, 34 to 18,000. Total it becomes 68,000. In this way you have to do fourth question. Very, very simple question. Total question number from exercise I am telling you, question number 1, question number 10 and question number 4 we have done. Next question, question number 5th. Question number 5th. In this question we have to find profit loss sharing ratio of partner, then we have to distribute the profit. First of all we have to find profit loss sharing ratio of partner. Now question is question number 5th. Mehta receives his share 4 times of Pandya. Mehta is receiving means his share is 4 times, times means multiply, 4 times of Pandya. So we know the profit loss sharing ratio of Mehta, that he is receiving 4 times of Pandya. Whatever Pandya is receiving, 4 times of that Mehta is receiving. Next, while Bajpai, another partner is Bajpai. Bajpai is receiving half of means multiply once again, half of share of Mehta, share of Mehta. Whatever share of Mehta is, half of that Bajpai is receiving. Now, profit of the firm is given 87,500. This is profit of the firm. So determine the share in profit of each partner. So we have to distribute this profit in their profit loss sharing ratio. So first of all, we have to find out profit loss sharing ratio. Now, total there are 3 partners, Mehta, Pandya and Bajpai. We know the share of Mehta, 4 times of Pandya. We know the share of Bajpai, half of Mehta. Then what about Pandya? So we have to assume that Pandya's share is 1. Pandya's share is 1. So solution is like this. Let Pandya's share is equal to rupee 1. Pandya's share is 1. Now Mehta's share. Mehta's share of profit is 4 times of Pandya. 4 times of Pandya's share is 1. So it becomes 4 rupees. Now Bajpai's share of profit. In short, I am writing Bajpai's share of profit is equal to half into Mehta, means half of Mehta's share, and Mehta's share is 4 rupees. So 2 2s are 4, 2 rupees. So the profit loss sharing ratio among Mehta, Pandya and Bajpai is Mehta's share is 4, Pandya's share is 1 and Bajpai's share is 2. So in this ratio, you have to distribute 87,500, and distribution of profit you know like this. First of all, write down distribution of profit. Next step, distribution of profit. Mehta, then Pandya, then Bajpai. 87,500 into Mehta share is 4, 4 upon total is 7. So into 4 upon 7, you will get answer. Then Pandya's share, total profit is 87,500 into 1 by 7. You will get answer here by using KLC. Then Bajpai's share, 87,500 into 2 by 7, 2 upon 7. Again, you will get answer. So first of all, you have to calculate profit loss sharing ratio. Then you have to distribute the profit. Profit of the firm is given in the question, 87,500. In this way, question number 5th is also completed. Another question similar to question number 5, we are doing from illustration. In illustration, that question is similar question. Illustration number 5. Now next question, for calculating profit loss sharing ratio, same question. So maximum question I am trying to complete from both illustration as well as exercise. Now illustration number 5. Before that we have done question number 5 from exercise. Now we are doing illustration number 5. Both illustration 5 and exercise question number 5 are same. Now illustration 5. Riya, Dilip and Kirtan. Riya, Dilip and Kirtan. Three partners are there. Are partners of partnership firm. Now the share of Kirtan means profit loss sharing ratio of Kirtan is given. Share of Kirtan is how much? Is 1/5 of share of Dilip. 1/5 of means multiply. Share of Dilip. 1/5 into Dilip. This is the share of Kirtan. Next, share of Riya. Now, share of Riya is given. Double means 2 times. Triple means 3 times. Double of share of Kirtan. 2 times of Kirtan. It means we know the share of Riya. She is receiving 2 times of Kirtan. Then we know the share of Kirtan also. He is receiving 1/5 of Dilip. And what is the share of Dilip? We have to assume 1. So let Dilip, spelling Dilip, share of profit. Share of profit is equal to rupee 1. And profit at the end of the year is given 1,92,000. 1,92,000. This is profit of the firm. Now Dilip share is 1 rupees. We are assuming that Dilip share is 1 rupees. Now Kirtan share. It is easy to calculate first of all Kirtan share because it is written 1/5 into Dilip. So Kirtan share we can calculate in an easy way. Kirtan's share of profit. Kirtan's share of profit is equal to 1/5 into Dilip share, and Dilip share is 1. So 1 means 1/5. This is Kirtan share. Dilip share is 1. Kirtan's share of profit is 1/5. And last, Riya. Riya's share of profit. Share of profit is 2 times of Kirtan. 2 times of Kirtan. And Kirtan share is 1/5. So 2 into 1/5 means 2 upon 5. So here we are getting share of Kirtan and Riya in fraction. This is called fraction. 1/5, 2/5, 3/7, 4/7, 3/7, 4/7, 3/9. This is called fraction. So we have to convert all the answer in fraction. Means 2/5 is okay, 1/5 is okay. Here it is written 1. 1 means 1/1. Whenever any number is written like this 2, it means 2/1. If written 3, 3/1. So we are assuming that Dilip share is 1/1. Dilip share is 1/1. Then Kirtan share we know. Kirtan 1/5. Then Riya's share is 2/5. 2/5. Now equalize the denominator. Upper part is called numerator, lower part is called denominator. So we have to equalize the denominator. So here 5 is written. So we have to convert this one into 5. So by multiplying with 5, we can get 5. 5 into 1, 5. Same numerator is also multiplied by 5. So we get 5/5. So ratio becomes, now denominator becomes same, 5, 5, 5. So our answer is, now see the numerator part, 5, 5 ones are 5, 5, 1, 2. So Dilip share is 5, Dilip share is 5, Kirtan share is 1, and Riya's share is 2. So on the, here in example, name is given Riya, Dilip and Kirtan. So you can write like this also. Riya's share first of all 2, then Dilip 5, 2 is to 5, then Kirtan share is 1. Anyway you can write. So ratio is 2, 5, 1, 5, 1, 2. Then in this profit loss sharing ratio, we have to divide 1,92,000. Second step is distribution of profit. Then divide 1,92,000. Solution is given in textbook. This is illustration number 5. Now another question, simple question we are taking. Question number 9. Question number 9. Mukesh, Dhawal and Vinod are the partners. Mukesh, Dhawal and Vinod. The three partners, Mukesh, Dhawal and Vinod, are partners of a partnership firm. Their capital proportion is capital proportion is 4:2:3. Now, before reading further question, this is very important point. Whenever capital proportion is given, you are not required to do anything with this capital proportion. Anything which should be divided between or among partners, it is divided in profit loss sharing ratio, not in capital proportion. Profit loss sharing रेशियो. कोई भी आइटम जो हम पार्टनर्स में डिस्ट्रीब्यूट करते हैं वो हम किस रेशियो में डिस्ट्रीब्यूट करते हैं? प्रॉफिट लॉस शेयरिंग रेशियो, नॉट इन कैपिटल रेशियो. In capital ratio, only one item is distributed, that is capital of the firm. For example, for a few seconds, leave this question. Try to understand between capital proportion and profit loss sharing proportion. Just assume that capital of the firm is 6 lakh rupees, and total there are three partners, A, B and C, and their capital ratio, not profit loss sharing ratio, capital ratio, their capital ratio is 3:2:1. Now in this question we can use capital ratio. Capital ratio is used for distributing capital of the firm. How much A has invested, how much B has invested, how much C has invested, we do not know, but we know that all the three partners have invested 6 lakh rupees. But in what proportion? In capital proportion, because it is given here 3:2:1. So very easily we can calculate the capital of each and every partner like this. A is capital, total capital is 6 lakh into 3 by 6, 3:2:16. It means A has invested 3 lakh. In this way, B's capital 6 lakh into 2 by 6. So here we have to use capital ratio. Otherwise, in question, you are not required to use capital ratio. Capital ratio is used only for distribution of capital, and if capital of the firm is given, then only. So in now come to question number 9 once again. In question number 9, three partners are there: Mukesh, Dhawal, Vinod. Their capital proportion. Now capital ratio is given. Capital ratio is 4:2:3, means capital ratio of Mukesh is 4, Dhawal is 2, Vinod is 3 respectively. Next part, Dhawal and Vinod. Now Dhawal and Vinod, these two partners, Dhawal and Vinod. Dhawal and Vinod. These two partners has given assurance or guarantee, another word is guarantee, to Mukesh. What type of guarantee they had given? Dhawal and Vinod has given assurance to Mukesh that he will get minimum rupees 35,000 from the profit. Whatever profit firm will earn, out of that profit, at any cost, Mukesh will get 35,000. So assurance amount for Mukesh is, assurance amount, within bracket I am writing Mukesh is 35,000. And the profit of the year, is equal to rupees 90,000. Rupees 90,000. How would you distribute the profit among the partners? So we have to show correct distribution of profit among all these partners. So first of all, once again try to understand the question. Three partners are there. Capital ratio is given. I have already told you that capital ratio is used only for distribution of capital. If capital of the firm is given, then we have to distribute that capital among all the partners in 4 is to 2 is to 3. But in this question, there is no use of capital ratio. There is no use of capital ratio. Then another statement in this question, that Dhaval and Vinod, these two partners, have given guarantee to Mukesh that any cost, he will get 35,000 rupees out of profit, and profit of the firm is 90,000. So from 90,000, Mukesh has been given guarantee or assurance that he will receive 35,000, and this assurance is given by Dhaval and Vinod both. Now we have to show correct distribution of profit. Now solution. What is the total profit in this question? 90,000. So distribute the profit. Distribution, first point, distribution of profit. Partners are Mukesh, Dhaval and Vinod. And in this question, profit is first of all, profit is rupees 90,000. We have to distribute 90,000 among all the partners in which ratio? In a profit loss sharing ratio, which is not given in question. Profit loss sharing ratio is not given, and whenever profit loss sharing ratio is not given, we have to assume equal proportion. Means here three partners are there, so 1 is to 1 is to 1. So profit loss sharing ratio becomes 1 is to 1 is to 1. Means in equal proportion we have to distribute 90,000 among all the three partners. 90,000 into 1 by 3, 1, and total is of 3. 90,000 into 1 by 3, 90,000 into 1 by 3. So each partner will get 30,000 rupees. So we have distributed the profit among all the partners in their profit loss sharing ratio. But in this question, Dhaval and Vinod has given guarantee or assurance to Mukesh that he will get 35,000. But according to distribution of profit, he is getting only 30,000. Means there is a deficiency of 5,000 in case of Mukesh. So that deficiency or deficit amount, deficiency of 5,000 rupees 5,000 will be compensated by Dhaval and Vinod. Dhaval and Vinod, because these two partners have given guarantee to pay 35,000 to Mukesh. Now there is deficiency of 5,000 in case of Mukesh share. So this 5,000 will be shared by Dhaval and Vinod in which ratio? In their profit loss sharing ratio. 1 is to 1. Dhaval share is 1, Vinod share is also 1. So 1 is to 1. So Dhaval will compensate 5,000 into 1 by 2, means he is required to pay 2,500 rupees to Mukesh. I am writing in bracket to Mukesh. And Vinod also required to compensate 5,000 into 1 by 2, means 2,500, same amount to Mukesh. So third step, this is first step, distribution of profit. Second, we have shown deficit, we had find out deficit amount. Deficit amount is 5,000, which is paid by those partners who have given guarantee, who have given assurance. And Dhaval, in this question, Dhaval and Vinod has given assurance. So they need to compensate that deficit amount in their ratio. And in this question, ratio is 1, 1. So 1 by 2, 1 by 2. Now third step is redistribution of profit. Redistribution of profit. Redistribution of profit. How much Mukesh is going to receive? 30,000 he is already receiving, plus 2,500 he is receiving from, he has to receive from Dhaval, and remaining 2,500 he has to receive from Vinod. So total 35,000. Then Dhaval, according to the distribution profit, he has received 30,000. But according to the condition which is given in the question, he has to pay 2,000 rupees, 2,500 rupees from his profit to Mukesh. So minus 2,500. So his profit becomes 27,500. And last, Vinod. Vinod share was 30,000. He is also required to compensate 2,500 or required to pay 2,500 to Mukesh. So his profit also becomes 27,500. So according to redistribution of profit, Mukesh's share of profit is 35,000. This is the assured amount. Assured amount. And then 2,500 is paid by Dhaval out of his profit. So his profit reduces by 2,500 and becomes 27,500. Same in case of Vinod, he has also promised to pay deficit amount to Mukesh. So 30,000 minus 2,500, his profit also becomes 27,500. So answer is 35,000, 27,500, 27,500. This is question number 9, I think. Question number 9. In this question, two partners have given guarantee to one partner that he will get 35,000 at any cost. So first of all, we have distributed, profit is given 90,000. First step, we are distributing 90,000 in all these three partners in their profit loss sharing ratio. And profit loss sharing ratio is not given, that's why we are taking 1:1:1. So in equal proportion we are distributing. Each partner is getting 30,000, 30,000, 30,000. Now according to the condition of question, that Mukesh has given guarantee of 35,000 by these two partners, Dhaval and Vinod. That's why deficit amount, assured amount is 35,000 and he is getting 30,000. So difference of these two is deficit amount. That deficit amount will be paid by Dhaval and Vinod according to their promise. So deficit amount is 5,000, that will be given by Dhaval and Vinod in their profit loss sharing ratio 1:1. So 1/2, 1/2. So 2,500 Dhaval will pay out of his profit, and remaining 2,500 Vinod has to pay out of his profit. As a result, what happens? His profit becomes 35,000. 30,000 plus 2,500 from Dhaval and 2,500 from Vinod. Profit becomes 35,000. Means he is getting assured amount. And Dhaval share reduces by 2,500, it becomes 27,500, and similarly Vinod's share also becomes 27,500 by deducting 2,500 from his profit. Question number 9 is completed. Now so far we have done question number 1. Once again, question number 1 from exercise, question number 4, question number 5, then question number 9, and then 10. These are the simplest question in this exercise. Question number first we have done interest on drawing. Then question number 4, simple distribution of profit. Then question number 5, calculation of profit loss sharing ratio, and then distribution of profit. Question number 9 we have done, in which assurance is given by partners to another partner. And last 10th, interest on capital. These 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 questions we have done. Question number 1, 4, 5, 9, 10 we have completed. Now further question. Question number 6. Question number 6. Profit of partnership firm of Sheila. First of all, I'm going to write the name of partners: Sheila, Surbhi, and Sanket. Three partners are there in question number 6: Sheila, Surbhi, and Sanket, and they have earned profit of 1,30,000. Means profit of the firm is given. Profit of the firm is given 1,35,000 rupees. 1,35,000. They have shared profit in the ratio 2:1:3. They have shared the profit in the ratio 2:1:3 instead of 3:2:3. So what accounting treatment is to be given to the capital account to rectify this error? So we have to rectify this error. Rectify the error. In this question, we have to rectify the error. Whenever rectify the error is given in question, it means we have to pass journal entry. Journal entry. Once again, what is the question? Three partners are there. Three partners are there: Sheila, Surbhi, and Sanket. They have earned profit of rupees 1,35,000. And instead of distributing this profit in 3:2:3, they have distributed the same profit in 2:1:3. Means this is wrong distribution, and they need to distribute that profit in this ratio. This is correct distribution. Correct distribution. Wrong distribution. First of all, try to understand the question. Sheila, Surbhi, and Sanket, three partners are there. They have earned a profit of 1,35,000. Try to understand the question first. And by mistake, that's why we need to rectify the mistake. So by mistake, these partners have distributed the profit of the firm, which is 1,35,000, in 2:1:3 instead of 3:2:3. Now we have to rectify the error. Before attempting this question, try to understand another example. Then we will again do it. Question number 6, we will do it. In my example, I am going to prepare capital account of three partners. Partners are Sheila, Surbhi, and Sanket. Again here, Sheila, Surbhi, and Sanket. This is capital account. One chapter we have done in 11th standard, rectification of error. Rectification of error. Whenever you are making some mistake on the, this is credit side, first of all, credit side and debit side. Whenever you are making some mistake on the credit side, how you are removing that mistake? By posting the same amount on the debit side. For example, according to this question, Sheila, Surbhi, and Sanket have distributed 1,35,000 rupees. In which ratio? 2:1:3. They have distributed in the ratio 2:1:3. It means they have received, suppose this is divisible profit, by divisible profit. In this way, they have, first of all, they have distributed the profit, then they have written in the capital account like this, by divisible profit. So how much each partner is getting? Each partner is getting 1,35,000, 1,35,000 into 2 divided by 6 is equal to 45,000. So Sheila has recorded 45,000 in her capital account. Next, 1,35,000 into 1 and divided by 6 is equal to 22,500. She has recorded 22,500, and Sanket has taken 1,35,000 into 3 and divided by 6 is equal to 7,500. No, sorry. 1,35,000 into 3 and divided by 6 is equal to 67,500. In this way, after distribution of 1,35,000, they have distributed these 1,35,000 in 2:1:3, and after distribution they have recorded this amount in capital account credit side, because any transaction which increases the capital will be recorded on the credit side. But this is wrong distribution. So how can we rectify this mistake? First of all, we have to strike it off, means we have to remove this amount. How? By entering the same amount on the debit side. To suppose we are writing divisible profit, 45,000, 22,500, 67,500. So first of all, what we have done, first in the first step, we have writing on the debit side in order to remove this amount. By writing on the debit side, now whole capital account becomes blank. It means there is no entry in the capital account right now after writing on the debit side. By writing on debit side, it means we had cancelled this amount. So first of all, we have to debit the capital account. Then again we have to distribute the 1,35,000 in correct ratio, and correct ratio is 3:2:3 according to question number 6. 3:2:3. This is the correct distribution. 3:2:3. Now distribute same 1,35,000 in 3:2:3 and show on the credit side. This is the correct by divisible profit. Now ratio is 3:2:3. First of all, write down here 45,000, 22,500 and 67,500. This is wrong distribution. Now correct distribution. 1,35,000 into 3 into 3 and divide by total of 3 to 3 8. So divide by 8 is equal to 50,625. Now correct distribution 50,625. Second, 2, 1,35,000 into 2 divided by 6 is equal to 45,000. 45,000 and then again 50,625. In this way, we have to show the correct distribution. First of all, partners have tried to understand, then we will go to the perfect solution. First of all, partners have distributed 1,35,000 in wrong ratio, and wrong ratio was 2:1:3. According to that, they have already posted the profit on the credit side, 45,000, 22,500 and 67,500. They have recorded this amount on the credit side of capital account, which is wrong. Now how we can rectify the error? Now our step is, first step, we have to strike it off from the capital account. We have to remove this amount from capital account. How? By debiting the same amount in capital account, 45,000, 25,500, 67,500. In other words, we can say we are taking back that 1,35,000 from these three partners. We are receiving, taking back 45,000 from Sheila, 22,500 from Surbhi, and 67,500 from Sanket. We are taking back this money. How? By debiting the same amount on the in capital account. And then we have to distribute the same amount in correct proportion, that is 3 is to 2 is to 3, and record on the credit side of the capital account. Now, how to do the question? Now you have understood correct distribution. According to correct distribution, profit is 50,625. I am writing here 45,000 and 50,625 again. This I have shown you how error is rectified, but solution is like this. Once again, partners are Sheila, Surbhi, and Sanket. Three partners are there. Sheila, Surbhi, and Sanket. Total profit is 1,35,000, which they have distributed in wrong proportion, that is 213. So first, wrong distribution. Wrong distribution. And they have distributed wrongly. In which ratio? 2 is to 1 is to 3. So according to 2 is to 1 is to 3, minus 45,000 minus 22,500 and minus 67,500. Why we are writing this amount in minus side? Because I have already explained in capital account that they have already returned 45,000, 22,500, 67,500 on credit side. So in order to remove this amount, we have to write on debit side, and debit side means their capital reduces. That's why we are using minus sign. It means we are taking back those amount from Sheila, Surbhi, and Sanket. Again we have 1,35,000 rupees. Now we have to distribute the same amount among all these three partners, but in correct proportion. And correct proportion is 3 is to 2 is to 3. Correct distribution. Correct distribution. And correct ratio is 3 is to 2 is to 3. According to that, now we are distributing the profit, means they are receiving the profit. That's why it will be written on the credit side. Credit side of capital account means we are giving profit to them. That's why plus. Plus, first partner will receive 50,625. Second partner will receive 45,000. And third partner will receive again same 50,625. Now what is the result? What is the result? One side, now come to Sheila. One side we are taking 45,000 rupees from Sheila, taking back 45,000 rupees, and instead of that we are giving 50,625. Means she is in profit. Profit of how much amount? 5, 2, 6, 10 minus 5, 5. So she is in profit of 5,625 rupees. Why? We are debiting by 45,000 and crediting her account by 50,625. So she is in profit of 5,625. Now Surbhi, we are taking 22,500 and giving her 45,000 according to new ratio, correct ratio. So she is also in profit. How much? 0, 0, 5, 4 minus 2, 2, and then 4 minus 2, 22,500. I think something wrong we have done. Wait a minute. 50, 50, 1 lakh. Wrong. calculator. Wait a minute. 1,35,002, okay, into 2 divided by 8 is equal to, sorry, 33,750. Sorry, plus 33,750. Here also 33,750. By mistake I have done 33,750. So 50, 50, 1 lakh, 1 lakh 33, 1 lakh 33. Correct. So now once again, we are taking back 22,500 from Surbi and giving her 33,750. So she is also in profit. 0, 5, 2, 3 minus 2, 1, 3 minus 2, 1. 11,500 she is in profit. Sanket. One side we are taking back from Sanket 67,500, and according to correct distribution we are giving him 50,625. It means he is in loss. Loss by 10 minus 5, 5, 9 minus 2, 7, then 14 minus 6, 8, 6, 16,000. He is in loss of 16,875. 11 plus 5, 16. Correct. Now, journal entry. Those who are in profit, means plus sign, will be credited in journal entry. Credit. And the partner who is in loss, means Sanket, he is required to be debited. So our journal entry becomes, who is going to be debited? Sanket. So our entry is Sanket's capital or current account. Why we are writing both? Because we do not know which type of capital account method they are adopting, fluctuating or fixed. If they are using fluctuating capital, then we need to write capital. But if they are using fixed capital account method, then we need to write current. So Sanket's capital or current account debit. 2. Sheila's capital. Sheila's capital or current account. 2. Surbhi's capital or current account. An amount. You have to prepare proper format for passing journal entry. You know the format: date, particular, journal folio, then debit, credit, this debit and credit column, and on the top you have to write journal entry. So Sanket's capital account debit. Debit means 16,875. And Sheila's capital account is 5625. 5625. And Surbhi's capital 11,250. 11,250. 11,250 plus 5625, 5,625 is equal to 16,875. In this way you have to solve this question. First of all, once again, three partners are there. Sheila, Surbhi, Sanket. They have earned profit of 1,35,000, and by mistake they have distributed this profit in 2:1:3 instead of 3:2:3. Means in this question correct ratio is 3:2:3, but by mistake they have distributed the profit in 2:1:3. So because since they have already distributed 1,35,000 in this ratio, that's why we have to take back those amount from Sheila, Surbhi and Sanket. Since we are taking back this amount, that's why we are using minus sign. And why we are using minus sign? For this purpose I have already explained by drawing capital account. So first step we are taking back, that's why we are putting minus sign. After taking back 45,000 rupees from Sheila, 22,500 from Surbhi, 67,500 from Sanket, again firm has 1,35,000. Now they will distribute, means partner will distribute this 1,35,000 in correct ratio, that is 3 is to 2 is to 3. Now again they are receiving the amount, that's why we have to put plus sign. Now at this time they are receiving 50,625, 33,750 and 50,625. Now what is the result? We are taking 45,000 from Sheila and giving her 50,625. Result is she is in profit of 5,625. Surabhi, we are taking back 22,500 from Surabhi and giving her 33,750. As a result, she is also in profit of 11,250. Sanket, we have taken 67,500 from Sanket and giving him 50,625 according to correct distribution. So he is in loss of 16,875. Now we have to pass journal entry. Plus means both will be credited, they are in profit, their capital will increase. And minus sign means Sanket's capital is going to reduce, that's why it will be posted on debit side of capital account. That's why on this basis we can pass entry. Minus means debit, so Sanket's capital account debit, capital and current. We have to write both capital or current account. To Sheila's capital or current account, to Surbhi's capital or current account. Sanket's capital 16,875, then Sheila's capital 5,625 and Surbhi's capital 11,250. In this way you have to pass entry. Now we have done so far, or till now we have done once again question number 1, question number 4, question number 5, question number 6 we have done right now. Then question number 9, question number 10. Now last question, question number 11. Then only 1, 2, 4 questions remains left. So 11th question is question number 11. We are going to do question number 11. A, B and C are the partners. A, B and C are the partners. This is also easy question. A, B and C are the partners sharing profit in equal proportion. Now their ratio is given 1:1:1. This is called profit loss sharing ratio. Profit loss sharing ratio 1:1:1. Their total capital is of 4,50,000. Their total capital is of 4,50,000. Then next sentence, their proportion of capital means capital ratio. In this question we have to use capital ratio, and capital ratio is given 1:3:2. 1:3:2 is the capital ratio. In this ratio we have to distribute capital. This is capital of the firm. How much A has invested, B has invested, C has invested, we can come to know through distribution 4,50,000 in 1:3:2. Next, firm pays. Firm is paying interest on capital at the rate of 9%. Interest on capital at the rate of 9% per annum. The firm is paying interest on capital at the rate of 9% per annum to each and every partner out of profit. Next point, partner C. Second point, partner C. Information is given about partner C, that partner C has received rupees 73,500 including interest. including interest on capital. Determine the amount, this is about partner C, that partner C is receiving total 73,500 including interest, interest on capital. Last sentence, determine the amount, payable including interest on capital of A and B. This is the question. First of all, try to understand the question. That total there are three partners A, B, C. Their total capital is 4,50,000 and both ratio is given, profit loss sharing ratio as well as capital ratio. Here capital of the firm is given, that's why this capital will be distributed in capital ratio. After that there is no use of capital ratio. Then everything will be distributed between or among partners in profit loss sharing ratio. So capital of the firm will be distributed in capital ratio. The first step in this question, the first step is we will distribute the capital of the firm among all partners. In which ratio? Capital ratio. Now capital of A, B, C. Now total capital is 4,50,000 and this will be distributed among partner in capital ratio, that is 1:3:2. 1:3:2. So 4,50,000 into 1/6, so 75,000. 75,000 is the capital of A. Then 3 means 2,25,000. This is the capital of B, and C 1,50,000. Total it becomes 4,50,000. So only distribution of capital we have to use capital ratio. Now the work of capital ratio completed. Now second part. In this question, information is given that this is the capital. This is C's capital which he has invested. Apart from this, information is given about C that he is receiving 73,500 including interest. So first of all we have to calculate interest on capital. Interest on capital. Or in this question, ratio, profit loss sharing ratio is given 1:1:1. 1:1:1. This is profit loss sharing ratio. Now interest on capital. Interest on capital is 9%. 9%. So 9% of 75,000. Sorry, 75,000. 9% of 75,000. 75,000 into 9 by 100. 0.456750. So A has to receive 6750. Then B, 9% of 2,25,000. 2,25,000 into 9%. 0.45 9 to 18 22 to 19 18 22. 20,250. 20,250. And last C will receive 9% of 1,50,000, 13,500. So this is the interest on capital. A will receive 6750 on 75,000 at the rate of 9%. B is entitled to receive interest 20,250 on 2,25,000 at the rate of 9%, and C will receive 13,500 on 1,50,000 at the rate of 9%. So interest on capital completed. Next point. Here information is given that partner C is receiving 73,500. 73,500 including interest. Including interest. And C's interest is 13,500. But total he has received 73,500, in which 13,500 is interest on capital. Then what is the remaining amount? That remaining amount is called divisible profit. So we can calculate very easily divisible profit of C. Divisible profit of C. Divisible profit of C. Total he has received 73,500, in which 13,500 is interest on capital, because it is written in the question that he is receiving 73,500 including interest. So after deducting interest 13,500 from 73,500, we will get divisible profit of C. So this is the divisible profit. So C is receiving 60,000 profit plus 13,500 interest, total 73,500. This is the divisible profit of C. Now we know separately about C that he is receiving 60,000 as profit, 13,500 as interest, total he has received 73,500. Now in the same way we have to calculate the total amount received by A, and total amount here means divisible profit and interest. So how much A is receiving and how much B is receiving, we have to calculate. So this is the divisible profit. Divisible profit is always distributed in profit loss sharing ratio, and in this question profit loss sharing ratio is 1:1:1, means equal proportion. It means if C has received 60,000 as profit, it means A has also received 60,000, B has also received 60,000. So divisible profit of total amount received by A. Total amount received by A is equal to divisible profit plus interest. Divisible profit plus interest. And divisible profit received by C is 60,000 and ratio is equal. It means A has also received 60,000 plus interest received by A is 6,750. It means total amount received by A is 66,750 rupees. 66,750. In the same way, total amount received by B. Total amount received by B. Again, same formula, divisible profit plus interest. You have to write divisible profit plus interest. And he is also receiving divisible profit 60,000 plus interest. Interest he is receiving 20,250. 20,250. Total it becomes 80,250 rupees. Once again you can see C has received C's divisible profit. C's divisible profit is equal to total profit he is receiving 73,500 minus his interest is 13,500. It means divisible profit is 60,000. Now we know the divisible profit of C, and divisible profit is always distributed in profit loss sharing ratio, which is given 1:1:1, 1:1:1. So now we know that divisible profit received by A as well as by B, means all the three partners are receiving 60,000, 60,000, 60,000 as profit. Now total amount received by A. Once again, total amount here means profit plus interest. Total amount received by A, divisible profit plus interest, interest on capital. Divisible profit is 60,000 and interest on capital is received by A 6750. The total it becomes 66,750 rupees, 66,750. And similarly in case of B, total amount received by B, again same, divisible profit plus interest on capital, and divisible profit is same 60,000 plus interest on capital received by B is 20,250. So total it becomes 80,250.